Wow, we are live again in the evening, and our today today is coming from two angles. One, I did put in a clip before saying that if Africans, whether in the motherland or in the diaspora, have put up a an attempt to address the issue of original sin of slavery, we wouldn't be where we are currently at. That was one of my first point of call. The second point of call is that if the white people in America have done justice as it's supposed to have been, the country here will not be in the toilet in which it's in. Those are two contrast arguments that I'm going to try and beat a whole hell of it today. I'm going to beat it to death. And I'm going to be acting as if I am a moderator and I'm questioning two people who have a diverse opinion on the issue. I am, for one, a moderator, and I'm also standing on the existing protocol to say that we want to welcome everyone to TalkNet because we talk to you about you and all those things that make you incredibly special. We want to welcome you on board. We're glad that you are here listening, and we are glad that you are out there watching the clips that has been posted in the YouTube because this is a live screen. And we're expecting that some people will join us on the live screen. If they don't join us, we're not going to be mad. But we do have two arguments that we're going to put forward today. And the two arguments is which I am part of because the first argument is that I happen to have brought into the argument that if the white people have been overly invested in African American instead of trying to ask them to become what they call um, a stepping stone or making them to look like they are pretty much acquiescing them and using the terminology over and again that some people telling them that the few that are with them that they're not white, they're not black, and telling them that you are white. And those people have big head. And an example of them are going to be, I can start from the very top. If I start from the very top, I cannot overemphasize somebody like Togo Marshall, who was the first Supreme Court justice of the black race, who did not cave into that kind of caminus. There were other subsequent Supreme Court justices that have come on board. I'm not going to mention any name there. And there was another woman first that came on board too. I'm not going to mention no name there. There is a contrast between the two sitting Supreme Court justices as we speak. So if we lay that to rest, I want to make you be aware that if the so-called people of the Caucasian tribe coming from the Caucasus Mountain have deliberately absorbed the African American into the society by not kicking their brains in, by not systematically pushing racism out there without saying that's what they are doing, and all of a sudden, one out of nowhere will come out from nowhere and want to go back into epitomizing and saying that if we go back, we're going to do better. Or person that is running after them is saying that there was country here didn't have, it's not a racial country. Stuff like that. Because all the presidents in America have used race to get to the next level, whether whether for or against. So I am saying that how I wish the white people have a mind of their own to say that absorbing the African American without any prejudice in their mind, or giving them what is Caesar unto Caesar and what is God unto God. And that's not how it has turned out. And that's the reason why this country, irrespective of how they want to look at it, everybody knows that the country is in the toilet. And no matter how you want to look at that, it's in the toilet. Then I took on another issue up, and the second issue I took on today was that it's a debate too, was that if, and I repeat, if the people of African descent at the diasporans and at the continental level have addressed the racial issue head on, we would have been in a better position than the way we are today. I am aware of the difficulty of such a journey, because be afraid, be very, very afraid. That's the storyline there. Be afraid and be very, very afraid. And people are afraid of somebody like Trump. They have what they call fear factor, because there is nothing he cannot do. Having had been a fluke for 4 years in that office, he got into his head and he think he'll come back again to office. And people are now even saying that it's possible that if he comes into the office the second time, he might not go, he might not leave anymore. And he would dismantle all the machinery in position so that he will be able to stay till where he dies. Is it far-fetched? Yes, he can do it. Because he has made it clear, and I did arrive at that conclusion when he was running for the when he was campaigning during the last time against Biden. He made it very clear that the black people are irrelevant. And the way he put it across was that it sent fear into the nervous system of an average thinking human being like me, who think outside the box. And what he was saying was that he does not care about the African American, and when he's getting ready to embrace those he wants to embrace, he's embracing the what you call those who are free thinkers, who deny their own people and try to be with him to eat out of his plate. Example is what there are two people have come online in the past 2 or 3 weeks, where one was a senator and the other one was former representative or somewhere, who went in and started shaking hands with him, and they were being taken on by the establishment, saying that, are you guys out of your mind? These are liberal commentators telling them, are you guys out of your mind that you are as racist as he is? That's the only person you can see to become friend to. One thing is for sure, they are afraid. And I'm back again, recycling back to the same point. I'm saying that the reason they're doing that is because there is a feeling that there's a fear factor. You cannot question, nobody question his, even if he doesn't question his audacity, he's not going to, even if you question his audacity, You don't question his audacity. He has a beef on everyone that has lived in the surface of the earth. That could be the more reason why his wife doesn't want to touch him with 10 feet pole vault. And I think Halle should have brought that up. But she didn't want to bring it up because she didn't want to go off on his wife. Instead, she just went into the being of saying that my husband is serving the country and he's doing what you don't know how to do. So after all, went off on McCain. After all, you went off on the Star family, the Golden Star family. So there is nothing he cannot touch. The only thing that was going to get him is going to see whether they can pretty much going to go lock him up and throw away the key. If you lock him up, that is going to make the whole of this country to vote him into power because they are believing that what he has done so far does not equal to what you call high crime. And as such, the more you try to absorb him into the system and tell him that there is nobody above the law, the more people are going to go towards his go to gravitate towards him. And he has successfully done that at this point because the more he's been antagonist of the sitting administration, and he has done it, and he has got away with a lot of murder. We do know that Hillary didn't give him break during the time he was there. That's the reason why he got impeached twice. But at least Hillary had a time where she was not even thinking about him because he was saying that he was renting some space in her own head, or she was renting some space in his own head. So I'm not going to gravitate too far away. What I'm putting together is the theory that one, if those are the diasporans, whether primary, secondary, tertiary, or quaternary diasporans who are currently breaking breads with the people from the Caucasus Mountain, have taken the issue of slavery at heart without going into denial and start concentrating on what they call them, KDIF visited the money, we will not be where we are today. Because just as above, so below, just as they have people in their own called PWT, that's how we got BWT. That's why we got AWT. Those are our acronym for the fact that we have poor people who the elites don't even care about. It's unfortunate that's the way it is. Or we have what we call the globalists, who all they are interested in is how to amass a lot of wealth and hand it over to their own children, like Soros, like the owner of what you call the New York Times, Madoff. Because both of them have already handed over the reign of the administration to their own children, to their two sons, wondering why it's not their daughter. So long as it stays as a standing protocol that the Africans inside the continent do not believe that there is risk to address racism, because the whole of 2023 election did not have anything in Nigeria. Any of those presidential candidates did not say anything about black people at all. Nor did they go into the area of religion because they consider that a taboo. They can say that they don't want no Muslim ticket. They don't think the Christian ticket is unthinkable anyway. They could do Muslim ticket from the Muslim world, because that is what Atiku was trying to do, or that I think that's what he did. And he went into the bank and even started saying, insinuating that, telling his people that there is nothing wrong with having two Muslims in the ticket, because that's what Tinubu finally won anyway in his own ticket. So we are talking about not addressing the issue of racism, because I addressed it when I got here. I'm not telling you guys to go and do what I've done. I just want you guys to have it in your head that so long as racism is not is out of the limit, we have a long way to go to be able to reach the promised land. And so long as racism is not being addressed by the white supremacists, who are the controller of the power that be in the structural environment of the in the United States, this country will continue to suffer in a manner that she will never be able to reach the promised land. I'm very much aware of how much it takes to be able to, for them to put together some issue and grind it out on the long run, where they will come up from the other end with grinds and what they call grits, the little gritty things, and they'll come up with the boondoggle. And what they come up with generally is very sound. It's very difficult for you to take on. Like, for example, the reason why the immigration issue did not pass the test of time was because they did not have the children who were brought here against their wish, and then the issue of those who were already in the system over the years, long period of time, not to grant them what they call citizenship, because even if it has gone into it wouldn't have passed. They are believing that it was caused by the issue why it didn't pass was because Trump had him saying that he doesn't want it to, but that's not the reason. Trump ain't got nothing to do with that. The reason why it didn't pass is that there was a standing order of the broken immigration system dated back to when Reagan had the amnesty. There were a lot of 50,000. They were bringing in of what you call another 50,000 through what you call the skill of those who are working for Microsoft, IBM. They were bringing them in from India and all over the world, and there were a lot of where you just had a lot of, you want to be able to have the system flushed out with new blood to so people to support the what they call the social security system, which was supposed to go bankrupt in about 3 years from now. So they always want new blood to come in, and it was that same new blood that somebody like Obama was what they call the deportation president of the United States, even though he's of a minority enclave. So when Trump came in, Trump followed up with that same trajectory. Start having children in the cave, while sending the children mother back, which is almost not different from what they had in the Gulag. And told them that they cannot, those who are coming into the country, so long as they're not coming in through their own country directly into the country here. If they're in Mexico, they stay there. He did that. So when Biden came in, he didn't want to follow that through with that anti-Semitism and hatred, and wanted to become more human. He was aware that if he brings them in, People are going to, the dishes will be washed. The, what do you call them? The grass will be cut. The high riser will be built. The dish will be washed, and somebody's going to come in and then try and wash the toilets and all that. That will be done, taken care of, because according to one of the former presidents, I think it's 43 or 44, said that the job that the foreigners are doing are the job that most Americans don't want to do. It's the same thing all over the world. In Nigeria, there were people coming in from other countries to come into Nigeria to come and do those menial jobs. As I will speak right now, there's what they call the japa from Nigeria, where people are now going to go and start washing dishes in another country. They could must have gone there through what you call, if they are given what you call the right visa, they will go in as what you call professionals. And that is what was happening back in the days where anyone living the developed country into Africa were given what you call status of what they call coming into the country as an expatriate. That's happening now with all those jackpot thing into going into Canada. That's happening now because when they jackpot and go there, as soon as they get there, they get the paper immediately. So I'm going to say that the debate here is going to be between Ogie Baba and Blowhard. And Ogie Baba has the moderator, which is going to be me. So I'm going to be asking people questions, and I will be asking them to make comments. I'm going to start by saying, welcome everyone to tonight's debate on the impact of investment versus empowerment on the economic prosperity of African Americans. John, I would say, Ogie, you argue more investment from white individuals could lead to more prosperous system. Please present your case. Ogie will say that thank you. Ogie Subaba. It's essential to acknowledge the economic prosperity often stem from the financial investment. If you white individual channel your resources into the African American community, weaken weakness, improve infrastructure, education, and job opportunity, unquote. This is in turn would contribute to the overall economic growth and stability. That's a lot. So I would then cycle back in to Blowhard. Thank you, Ogie Subaba. Your perspective focuses on empowerment within the African American community. Could you share your insight? Blowhard. Certainly, Ogie Subaba. While financial investment is valuable, true empowerment comes from addressing the root of the issue, racism. By empowering African American through education, awareness, and anti-racist initiative, we create a foundation sustainable progress. Economic success is not about fun, it is the dismantling of systemic racism. As Ogie Subaba said, interesting perspective, John. Interesting perspective, Ogie Baba. How do you respond to the argument that empowerment is the key? Ogie Baba came out and said, empowering is crucial, no doubt. However, tangible changes often require immediate resources. By investing in education, businesses, and community development, we can create an environment where empowerment effort can strike effectively. That's a full load too. And then he said, I told him, I said, hey, Lisa, which is Blowhard, investing is a short-term solution if not coupled with a long-term empowerment strategy. You must address the root cause of inequality, promote education on racial issues, and foster inclusivity without the effort of empowering prosperity may be fleeting. I'll come back again to that. We're going to say that investment is the catalyst for changes. By injecting resources into the community, we provide a foundation of lasting empowerment in a system is a symbolic relationship, and both are essential for the true prosperity. When we were talking about an area where we are not rusty, and because we're talking about education and politics, that's the title of this. That's the theme of this YouTube channel studio. So the two arguments that I have in place today is valid because we are looking at a situation where the white people or the white supremacists or the white nationalists, which makes the fringe thinkers, which are very far and few and in between, believe that they want to only invest in the people who look like them. And we saw that during the women vote to Trump, where they said, we will vote for a man because my husband is white, my child is white, my daughter is white. So why would I want to vote for a white woman? That was the stake of the white women as they were looking at the landscape in terms of voting for Trump. And whereas we come to 60 degrees now, 36 degrees around to a new frontier in 2024, we have seen it playing out again. I'm hoping that that the system can see Hallie for who she is, instead of looking at her as somebody who is not a member of the Judeo-Christian society because the father and the mothers are Hindus. And they see her as, we will not vote for you as a woman because my husband is white, my son is white, my daughter is white, and I thought I would rather vote for my white friend. That was there in Nigeria when the last election happened, when Tinubu presented the country saying that, Emi lo kan, it's my turn. It is my turn. Emi lo kan, àwa ló kàn. Emi lo kan, àwa ló kàn. It means that it is our turn in your world. And that's what is propelling Trump to the constantly going out. Even though, if you look at it from another landscape, for those people, if they start looking out for the betterment of this republic that we are now sitting on, because the system does work, if they start looking at it from whether the republic is going to be successful, there's going to be a paradigm shift towards Biden winning in the second foray. I have no doubt in my mind about that. I can predict that now. And as soon as, I'm not even going to wait for him to win for me to go back to the unfinished business in Africa, because I know he's going to win. And I was saying that how I wish Hillary win, I would have already been in Nigeria to go and tell Nigeria that the system in America does work. I did not leave because when I wanted to see how he was going to administer, he was going to govern. As he was governing, he got thrown a curveball by the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, where almost more than 1 million people, the highest number in the whole wide world, died in America. Why? He was playing trivia, telling people to go and take hydrochloric acid and stuff like that, or so chlorine and all that. Himself got the disease. His wife got it and the child got it. That's a shame. I think finally, I think Obama even got it anyway, because I know he probably wasn't wearing no mask at all. McCain, there's a McCain, King got it, and I think that he died out of it. And I said before, I've already gone into the point of telling people that we are back again to square one, where a lot of people are passing. It's more than like a lot of people are dying again now as we speak. And the only solution to the problem is for you to wear the mask when you are in the public. You don't really have to wear it all the time. But when you do find yourself browsing through the public, wingling to the public, which I am, which I do use the public transportation, and I work at the public restaurant, I wear it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't play. I'm not telling you guys that I'm not going to catch it, because for one reason or the other, the only thing that will make you catch it, you will know, because the virus is non-colorless, non-palatable. It's like water, colorless, non-palatable, and you will just go into your mouth. And I'm surprised too that seeing people wearing the mask and they're not covering their nose. They cover their mouth. They don't wear it to cover their nose. I'm worried about that. I don't think they should be doing that. But I feel sorry for them, because I don't know what they're thinking about. Because you can have that disease and not be sick, because of the fact that you are able to be asymmetric. So I did spoke about that area about a week ago and told people to put on their mask. And I also spoke very, very dearly about attention deficit disorder too, on the whole clip. I'm going to have future clips that I will be discussing. But the bottom line is, I am the master of none. I'm a jack of all trades. I don't have one single subject I will take on. And people like that are easily prone to become the president of a nation, because no matter what is coming through their periphery, they can capture it and chase it. So that when they make final decision, the decision is not for their own good. It's a decision that will make their constituency a little better. And nobody, after the relegation of the women to the ground zero, or the perpetuation of the people of African descent to the ground zero, and reduction of the LGBT community to ground zero, and the submission, the submerge of the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to 6 feet under. There is no safe haven in this world. So I will be taking issue upon issues upon issues. I'm not going to pass any pass. P-A-R-S-E. Pass the words. I'm not going to take no Benny. I'm going to be going in there directly straight into the belly of the beast, to bring what you call what is in there that is up to no good. And 99.99% of those who are at the diaspora don't have the balls to be able to talk about the system, because they are afraid that they have already said something different somewhere down the road, and if they come out now to come and say something in the public, they will be called out and called hypocrite. I started with my journey saying what I am saying now, dated back 60 years ago. And I said it when I was in Nigeria. But I could not defend the status quo because I was not my father's. I was not my father. I was not my mother. So I had to come and kind of go along to get along, having it in my head. And when I did find myself at the highest pinnacle of my glory as a president of the Student Union government, I didn't eat. I did not eat. I did not eat or be corrupt. So when I took up the second foray, in which I went into what you call a better world to go and see whether I can make the federal government a better parasiter under the Benue Wana River Basin Development Authority, I find myself being challenged with systemic corruption. America is more corrupt than Nigeria. Let me say that the corruption they have here is such that they are able to cover it up. They cover it up to the point where you hardly can catch them. You will be surprised when it comes out on the long run after an FBI investigation, CIA investigation, police investigation, NSA investigation, all this government entity piecing everything together. When they put things together on the long run, it's like, for example, a lot of people are sitting out there right now, and they took upon themselves to gain the system during the COVID-19 of that $6 trillion that went poof to try to avert the situation. Going forward, 100 years from now, those who took that money illegally are still going to be called out. They are running scared. One of my friends has assured me of that they're gonna go after them because there's a system in place to be able to recover those money back. It's not different from the insurrection, because when the insurrection was finished, they had almost like 3,000 people that were in that ground where that thing took off, and a lot of them that came into the building to go and start sitting on National Police's desk, or to go and start saying that hang the VP and all that. The number is very high, and they have still yet, I think they've got to 1,000 people already persecuted. There's still going to be more of those persecution, because half of those 3,000 that were on the ground there, half of them did carry the arms and ammunition to say whether they can topple the government, called the coup d'etat. But they were not able to do the coup d'etat. So there is ongoing of picking each of them up by piecing it together. I don't have the problem with that, because since I've been in the country, I've always looked out for America. I've always looked out for America. And in the area where my hands are tied, I can care less about that. Where my hands are tied, I can care less about that. And I want to go on the record on that. Because when I was in Nigeria, I played the same trivia too. When I was there, I did all I could do to make sure that I was able to stay out of trouble. But when my hands become tied, like for example, when I was repeating my secondary school at ICE, my future at that point was bleak, because there were people who were now hanging out with me, seeing me as a a big kahuna. and they wanted to hang around with me. As they were hanging around with me, it almost influenced my decision. My decision became half hazy because I was not sure how I was going to be able to overcome a statement of result. Not grade 1, not grade 2, not grade 3. I only have one class that I had credit, one credit, one credit class, and they give you a statement of result, which means they have a piece of paper that they give to me. And I was almost like saying, how am I going to get out of this doghouse? I went into the police force and I couldn't hang in there because of the fact that my brain could not carry me, or my physical being of being able to hold in as somebody who was not able to play soccer in my school as much as I want. Even when I came to the WIU, that was the first thing my host family was telling me, why don't you play? Why don't you play? Because that's what black people do anyway. They play ball, carry ball. There was a woman that was telling one basketball player, when the person speaks out, he said, why don't you just go carry ball? That was derogatory. So I couldn't carry the ball. So by the time I got there, I then not able to carry myself to the next level. I did cross the line of death because my hands were tied, and I went in and presented something that I wasn't supposed to present. And I was called to order by the panel of judges who told me, you can not going to be with us. But I was more qualified to be there, and I should have had grade 1 because of the difficulty of the way I went into that school, going to what they call them, jungle, spending 5 hours one way, 5 hours back to the jungle. So I could not do it. And as soon as they called me to order, I came into my senses. That was the second time that was happening to me. It happened to me with my surrogate father. My surrogate father had money lying around somewhere. And when I got there, I took the money because I wasn't working. I was not working. So when he asked me, where is the money that is there? I said, I took it, man. Then he said, get out of here. And I went away because I was used to taking my mother's money anyway. But before I go to school, my mother wasn't giving me allowance to go and buy guguru reekbari. Guguru reekbari. You don't give money for guguru. So, but when I do want to leave, I'll go into her purse and take some money that I was going to use in buying guguru in primary school. That was the second instance where my hands were tied. The third instance was when I was at the Benue River Basin Development Authority. When I came in there, I had to learn the rope of how corruption works, where people were speaking in tone. Somebody like Uli said, they don't speak, you don't know what they are saying. It's not different from Cornerstone Baptist Church, which I was attending with one of my former friend who was helping me out with my development environment, who was a forensic auditor. I don't want to mention name, but when you go to that church, you will hear the pastor speaking in tongues. If you go to Nigeria, YouTube, and put a lot of pastors in there, all those pastors speak in tongue. They are deceiving people by speaking like that, confusing people, and then those people don't know how they're going to part with the money, hard-earned money that they are making. There is a tendency that they are also in-house and making money out of the connection between their their sorrows and their fighters. No doubt in my mind. Which is, if you take you to another level, all those occult like Ugboni, Skull and Bones, or Wigwe, those political parties, those high society, all of them have that same. You use one hand to give, use the other one to take it away. You are my brother. I vote for my brother. because he's my brother. I'm not going to vote for nobody else. I kept hearing that one in Nigeria Watch. That's exactly what has been going on. I will vote for my brother. So on the long run, when everybody is now hungry in Nigeria, and let me also qualify that, I don't think people should be on the case of Tinubu the way they are on his case right now, because Tinubu is not the cause of the Nigerian problem. He is an epitomizer. He was given he had a bounty on of $1 million on his head by one of the company he was working for, like Otto Adasi Consultant, Pricewaterhouse and Co. They put a bounty of $1 million on his head, which he was the one that he used in jump starting himself when he got back to Nigeria. But he's not the only one. Abbas, the former man that was all over the place in Badagry, was done the same way. All the presidents, all the people, like as far back as we can remember, those who could not challenge the status quo of when they saw that they were being thrown under the bus are all enablers in the best of my knowledge. As far back as what you call Digati Aloko, these are all people that was given a pass by OBJ, cornered the market of the cement for him, and then they are now cornering the market of the oil and gas for him. I hope he lives forever. That's all I can say. I hope he can live forever. I hope he doesn't pass one day. Because they are looking at the whole world as if they're not going to die. They don't care about what's happening to the common man there. So long as they can have dinner with Bill Gates, dinner with Shiwaju, dinner with, what's his name, Buhari, dinners with Gowon, they don't care. But when they die, I hope they're going to take all that money with them. You know what I'm saying now? I hope I'm very clear about that. So we are in a slippery slope on how are we going to be able to get to the promised land. And the two submission I have today that I want to stand on the standing protocol is we have not done enough job to we as Africans who did not suffer from the bruise of the contemporary 400 years of racial inequality that we are in. We in the Africa, inside Africa, have now forgotten about it. I was talking about Unemenehua yesterday, Unemenosu, because I was at Igara, how the men will go to war and they don't come back. Those are slaves that went into the foreign land, that were captured, that were taken to the foreign land. That's why they didn't come back. Because they didn't come back, they started having what they call, the women, nobody's going to go to bed with them because those people who were going to bed with them are gone, and they are now as a taboo. How about that? I'm now becoming a very good storyteller, and I wish I had people online that would have been chatting with me, but I don't have nobody online doing that. It's better because from standing order, I'm going to get rid of the pot bins. I hope they return my money to me because I already paid for 1 month, and I'm going to start and pay for Twitch because the background is not that dark, and I'm going to try and go ahead and go look for what you call a microphone and a camera, because it's telling me I need that so that I can be able to start doing what you call a live screen that is more better. I just want a basic. I have successfully, I looked at one of my analytics today. I see 288 views on one of my channel. My heart was pounding when I saw 288 on one of my channels. And the channel was about how I was going to get to become a community organizer to help the community in which I belong by helping my my landlady. That was the gist of that novel, of that delivery, and it was not there was nothing big about it because I was talking about most of the what I believe is getting me that exposure is that I say something that resonates with an individual out there. That's what Socrates did. That's what Spinoza did. That was what Obedient did because these are all philosophers of their own time. They speak in tongue, but you don't. They speak plainly as philosophers, and they speak plainly, and everybody understand what they are saying, and they themselves, they may not have been thinking about what you are saying, but they do have what you call plain English, which at the end of the day, when you listen to them, you will not say, "Oh yes, this piece that you are putting together is real." Like, for example, I was pushing the ideology that where you sleep and where you work, they are compatible. Who you marry and who marry you are compatible. Did you see what the Smokey says? Smokey said it's only you. And you can take that to the bank. And I was saying, talking about the the guy that won the Super Bowl 3 days ago being compatible to Taylor Swift. I wish them the very, very best because both of them are going to survive the test of time because God or Allah or Arede has blessed them because they are at the highest pinnacle of their glory when they then start having connected at the hip. The girl herself delivered. She flew from Japan to town. That's unheard of. It's unheard of because she flew from Japan to come to there and did not even have to rest and went into the stadium. When she got there, the boy has already had $1 million bounty on the suite where her parents was going to be staying, Taylor's parents was going to be staying, the entourage that he was bringing in, and there were a lot of celebrity that was coming into the suite to come and pay obeisance to Taylor Swift. And Taylor was drinking. She wasn't wasted like they said. Mohana, the linebacker for the team, wife got so wasted that they had to be giving her an IV into her stream because she could have passed out. So they put some IV in there because she was overly wasted. But as Lord may have it, Taylor Swift was drinking and he was hugging everybody. Nobody had what they call a mask there. I can see that. That's how I know some people are going to walk away from that stadium having to catch that disease called COVID-19 or the normal flu. Some people are going to be catching it, but nobody is going to report it because a lot of people are dying. We're having almost 1,500 dying every week, which is just 7 days. So a month, we're looking at the numbers is really very, very high, but a lot of people are dying. Schools are closing down. And because they see that the number has gone a little bit above. That's the reason why I made that clip and telling people, please wear your mask. And I also made another clip, and the second clip was for those girls who are between the age of 25 to 35. And I warned them about what I have been through by leveling with them and telling them they need to have it in such a way that when they have a child, the child will be tested for if the child is a little bit not having throwing tantrum. If a child is throwing tantrum, then Don't hesitate to take the child quickly to the to a pediatrist so that they can test whether the person has a disjointed upstairs, disjointed brain, a helter-skelter brain that has some hole or some holes in it as compared to a man's brain that is joined together. I'm making this up. I'm not the medical doctor. Let me quantify that. Nor am I a lawyer. But I am giving you the example of what I have been through. And I'm telling those 25 to 35 boys or girls who are my weakness in my view of when I look at my analytical, that those people should not take issue of attention deficit disorder with lying down. So that if they don't careful, the child can easily maneuver their way through having not to take it in such a way that they can do it because they are positively behavioral, which I was, which nobody confronted me with it and said, yeah, you have attention there. So everybody just kind of hang out with me. We just kind of hang out and we're hanging out. We're just there. And we're just doing. The boy is doing it. The boy is doing it. The girl is doing it. The girl is doing it. The boy is doing it. The boy is doing it. The girl is doing it. The girl is doing it. So that was what I did. And we just kind of hang out there until such a time when I was able to live there, and out of hard work, I saw string of success coming my way. Then I capitalized on it. Then I was no longer interested in more hard work again because I was now riding around, smoking, drinking, and all that. Then at the time when I got to a point where I now have the power, my power I wanted to exercise at that point was to be able to bring Benue River Basin Development Authority having what you call a local person from Ahoy, Olsen, to sign off on contract. But I couldn't pull it off because the place where I was working was full of little daughter heads who were speaking in tongues, all in the name of amassing the almighty Naira. They didn't care. They just wanted their money. That's it. And I, for one, when I saw that things were going the direction where it was going, I questioned the audacity of those who were supposed to have been the one who were chairman of a whole local government area, who may have spent tons and tons of their money to get into power as a representative or as a senator. And I was trying to deprive them from recovering their money back. They came to town and head on to my general manager, which was Aweka, and Aweka tossed it back to Sobande, and Sobande called everybody to and asked, what is the deal here? And I told them, yes, I'm the one for you guys, man. I'm the one telling that we cannot do what she wanted us to do, that she wanted us to give her a report that of the work that she has not completed. And we didn't want to do that. And I'm the one that was in charge. That's why I said no, that I have already experienced that the people do that. That's what we do. We've been doing when I'm a member of a panel going to a place, I'm not the one taking the lead. And in this instance, I was the one taking the lead because I had a lot of people that were reporting to me that has not even been to the School of Agriculture at all. We arrived there on the Mercedes Benz, a Mercedes Jeep, and when we got there, instead of the woman the person who was going to do the measuring with one of my counterparts, but she asked who was in charge, and they pointed at me. And when I then said, yes, what do you need? He said, I want everything to be done, but I will give you guys money. I said, no, we're not doing that. And we don't need your money because we are going to mortgage the future of our unborn children. She was livid, and we left her behind, and we didn't with what we gave, the report we gave was what she has done, and she could not get paid for what she hasn't done, and that's what is currently going on in Nigeria right now. I don't think that will change because the only thing that can change is for us to get back to where we are going to be at 6 feet under. Like for example, let's assume in the for people who are hungry right now, some people are going to gravitate towards going into the farm because it's going to take almost like a whole year cycle, almost 9 months for a tuber of yam that you're going to take a whole tuber of yam and cut them into like 100, 50, 25 portion and stick it into the ground and put some soil over it. When it rains, it will then form a sprout. The sprout is the one that's you're going to try and put it up in the air to make sure that it grows out. The more healthier the vines grow, the more bigger the tuberous yam that you're going to harvest. That I did as my practical at the School of Agriculture at Akure. That was the closest I could have got into school farming. I did have a preliminary experience with my at Ekol, with my uncle Yoha. I'll go to the farm with him because he didn't have no children on his own, but he was the head kahunu of Ekol, of Ikoko. So I'll go with him and we'll go to the farm together. We'll come back home, eat and everything and all that good stuff. And I will then cross to my other uncle's house and go pay them the hosted. I'll eat over there. And in the long run, they're going to have what they call the festivity. And the festivity, as young as I was, which was at the age of about 10 or no, the age of 3, 4, 6 or 7, when I was just starting primary school, I will be declared a winner. That I am already, they would have looked at me as a male and put all the other women behind inside their house while we and 6 years of age and or 5 years of age doing this what they call having what you call what do you call that like a ruler. If you take a ruler and then carve the edge of it and then take a string of rope and then put a hole at the end of the ruler. When you kind of like swing it, it makes some sense. This noise. That sound is what they call the arrival of the Ihoho, which is the omnipotent, omnipresent man world. Then in the women world of my mother, Ogieki would put all of us together, have what you call chalk, white chalk on our head with cola nuts, killing of fowl or goat, and use it to say that this is sacrifice. And that's what they called Shango. Shango or something like that. And we knew of some people who were very, very into Oloko. We will not panos Oloko one lying off Regbe. And we not panos Oloko one lying off Regbe. Those people were in their own right. They would then have those kind of people who were using it, and they were what you call a Babalawo, and they were Mamalawo too. And I happen to have been fortunate to have been in a place where our house were rented by one woman who was having this what they call he would said he would start singing, and then he would have a little bit of a calabash, and the calabash he would light it, and the calabash would then kind of wingle around, and people will come from afar back as Abakaliki, Ogoja, Abeokuta to come and see this woman. And when they come in, the woman doesn't know English. So I will now be the one that will now be interpreting to them because I was able to speak English and I know what the woman was saying and I will interpret it to them. At the end of the day, there is going to be what you call a goat killed and I will eat really well because they're going to kill the goat and they're going to use it as sacrifice and those people are going to leave and we're going to have to eat it locally and I will eat well because I was hanging around with the woman. For one reason or the other, she did move into Ogida and stayed there and then have her own house. Then there were other people that lived with us too. That were one woman was living with us. She didn't have no children either. That was one of my former girl that I really would have loved to be with, but she later moved in and built a house, a decking. There was another woman that was living with us that was very close to Izomo. There were a lot of Igbo people that were living with us that my mom did not have a soft spot for more than two people or three people in a room. And those people boys would have like 10 people in a room there. They were just looking for a way to crash out. So in the morning time, before 3 in the morning, they are gone into go and start tapping rubber and come back home and crash out. So my mother was really was so conservative and I didn't like that. And that could have been the reason why I became so liberal. Because she was so conservative and she was taking the laws into her hand to make sure that those people are not going to destroy her property. At least to know that down the road, when I came to the United States, I didn't know I was going to be faced with this problem of having to be dealing with immigration issues. So when I got it head on, I just turned my nose on the people who were telling me what to do, what not to do. You cannot put a propaganda machinery to bring people from abroad and come to your own country. And when they get here, you want them to now go 6 feet under where they were coming from. They were not being pushed out of their country where they're coming from. They may have been looking for what we call a safe haven to address their own bottleneck. It doesn't necessarily mean that when they come down to your place, you want to enslave them. You already saw how people were enslaved. So you cannot take me and put me as a slave. You can forget that. That I was very big on. So I took on the establishment. I did it in my own little way. And I had a lot of support system. I was able to repeat the fact that I was having women coming at me after I already finished the School of Agriculture. So we're talking about, let's assume I went into primary 1 when I was already 5 years of age, and I wasted 2 years when I missed primary 3. Then I went to primary 2 and primary 3. I missed it because I was thrown out to another place. Then I came back in primary 4 because I was able to link up with my brother's best friend, A.A. Aluyi, the secondary secretary of Midwest, who was what you call a sports guy. Then I went, so that's 6 years there, 6 plus 5. That's approximately 11. Then I went in and repeat. That's 8. That's 11. That's 12. Then I put you another 5 years, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Then I came back and did another 1 year, 19. Then I went back again to go and waste another 1 year, 20. Then I went to the School of Agriculture and did the whole 3 years, 20, 21, 22, 20. So I was 24 when I left Nigeria to the United States. I've never made that calculation anyway, but that was already 24. So I was so boisterous that at the time I was leaving, I had the luxury of having where I crossed paths with a princess. That was princess that didn't need my money because the mother was excessively rich. She was she was the sister to Wafiokum, and she did not need my money because she had a husband that she was following who was from Lebanon that was paying child support to her and another of her daughter that was invalid. So in my own case, there was this issue of, hey, she didn't need my money, and I went to the school of to the Benue Wana River Basin with clear head that I wasn't going to eat. And unfortunately, there was this money that was coming in that they would give to me, and I was wondering why you guys give me this money. So when it came to my turn, I turned it down. That's when I knew I've got to go. Not only that, I was dealing with an issue where the boys who were in when I was at the age of 22, and I was hanging out with, that they were probably in their 30s, and they were agricultural officer, and they knew they wanted to start doing what we were doing. They wanted to start going to our inspection, but they were not allowed to do that because they were agricultural officer. They were supposed to be doing a lot of the what you call area where they were in did not involve any money any money going into their coffer. So when they know that we were making money on our own, they wanted to start going to the inspection. I think that didn't work out. But I was very cognizant about the fact that as young as they were, and as old as I was, if I am not careful, I can get stuck in this country where I'm not going to be able to go and get the almighty bachelor's degree that they got. Because before that, I have had a counterparts of mine when we were partying. Before I even, when I was partying with my brother's car in Benin, when I was at Igara, I would come home and I would take my brother's car and go party. My best friends who have been to the University of Ibadan came with one of his friends home, and the guy was very, very sarcastic. Told me that I am from UI. That really got me, telling me I'm from UI. So that got into my head. So I was like, okay, when I was at the River Basin, I said, no. I'm not going to allow these boys to become, I'm not going to allow me not to go and get that bachelor's degree, because that was a seal of approval for me. That was not being able to break through what you call the glass ceiling. So I went in and I was getting ready to leave. And when it was time to leave, a friend of mine, one of our family friend, Dr. Gariwa, had his brother called Phillips at WIU, and he sent me the forms. And Phillips or Dr. Gariwa already went to the School of Agriculture before he got his doctorate. He also have another brother that is Stephen. He also have another, it's not a brother, that was like a cousin or something like that. They were all hanging out there around the St. Angela's area. So I said, I got my admissions, I got the money, and I went in to go look for somebody to sign off on my work. That was when I used my best friend's father to sign off on it, and I went abroad. Only to arrive abroad to see that the early part of my life, which was around the age of 3 or 4 or 5, when I crossed path with what's his name, Oswan, that when he was singing to us, "Oh, gracious Lord, you see what the white man did." When they came one day, they brought five fine things. When they came one day, they both got to the sailboat and said, "Get on board. You think I'm laughing? Get on board." He started to laugh. "Get on board. Ha 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 ha. Get on board." We roll along into say we roll along. Then we roll along to Mississippi. I saw as soon as I got it, I just saw that coming my way. It just hit me like a brick. How in the hell we can be treating you guys with kid gloves over there in Africa? Here you are not really, you don't care about us. You are making us irrelevant. You are pushing us into a dugout where we are now the one considered to be one having a mental upheaval, because you are out there when you don't have no money. You don't have no car. You don't have no girlfriend. One girl told me, said, you don't have no money. You don't have no car. You don't got a girlfriend. She was talking to me, said, you're a loser. Because I was not looking to be able to be between their parents. And they knew that I could have been having all of them, whether black, white, or Hispanic, didn't really matter because they were all over me. But at the time I was in Dallas, I did not want to go there because I felt very strongly that I have a dream that one day I would be able to treat myself by the content of my own character, not the color of my skin, to be able to be accepted. And I had a dream, and I kept that dream going, and I did not pass word by trying to be between anyone's leg because I had a bigger fish of somebody I fell in love with in my second for real when I went back there before I got my degree. So when I came back to Dallas, the degree didn't really matter, even though I was being courted by a former food and beverage director who wanted me to work on his mushroom project. He wanted me to do research for him. He didn't pay me. Hang out with him for almost like, I told him, I said, man, I don't want to do work for you like that. I want to have a job for me. Then if I could use you as a second job, but I'm not going to use you as a primary job. He did not want to hear that. So I had to go to the former personnel manager, who was the personnel manager of the property, what you call the Republic Bank property, that I was working for as an employee cafeteria. And he was now the director of personnel at the Federal Reserve Bank. So when I came here, I want to go see him. I was qualified to start working for Federal Reserve Bank. But when it came to the time of running saying whether I was a citizen and all that, it didn't pan out. I didn't care. I went in, started doing two jobs. He would see me riding the bus home early in the morning when he's coming to school. Because I would go in and work one job. I work at the Sheraton Hotel and I work at the Fairmont Hotel. Then I drive the Sheraton, I work at the Sheraton Hotel, and I work with the restaurant. So when I'm changing position, I will see him riding to go into what you call the Christ of the Nation International, where he was reading to become maybe an evangelist. I will say hi to him and stuff like that. But what he did was when I told him that Ray Randolph threw me under the bus and I worked for Ray Randolph for the whole month without pay, he gave me money. I ended up paying him back and gave him some more gift that I was able to encounter in, I think I gave him a trophy. And the trophy was something I found out when we at the restaurant level we have the ballroom occupied by some vendors who are doing something, and I had a clock that was they were giving away, and I went to give him as a prize, and I also paid him off for the money that he gave to me. He gave me $300 because he saw the pains in my eyes. I didn't ask him for it; he gave it to me, and if he's still living today, I owe him that gratitude. And his name is Sylvain Bossima of the Federal Reserve Bank. So I did have a great time with the fact that a girl fell in love with me in Nigeria, was a princess. As when I came to the United States, the history was repeating itself. There was another girl that fell in love with me, this time presenting me with a platter of we want to become an American or stuff like that. But I was the one that looks out for the women's interest. And I told her, if you want to do it, you're only doing it because that's what you want to do, not because I am the one telling you to do it. Because as soon as I arrived in the country, the very first person I saw in New York, the only thing they were telling me is that don't go to the village in Illinois, because New York City is the capital of the world. And if you're not just going to Chicago, and you're going to another 150 miles away from Chicago, that you are going into the boondock. And they were telling me don't do it. But I was like, why are you telling me that when I didn't leave Nigeria because I wanted a green card or I wanted permanent residency or I wanted to become a citizen? I left Nigeria because I had something that I wanted to take care of, which I didn't even know I had, which is my coconut was not working properly. So I teach them. When I got to school, same old, same old. That's only what you hear. And the money that they were using paying for scholarship, one of my classmates who was a member of the Supreme Camaraderie, he just passed about a year ago, was with me. He was being sent by the Ogun State to come and become a student for his master's degree. He was coming in for an undergraduate degree, and they paid him a bursary award to come in. So when he got there, the whole money failed in Nigeria because of one reason or the other. The only people that were able to survive it were those whose father were exceptionally wealthy. Like, for example, say maybe some of my best friends whose father was already a billionaire, who were paying their money in places like Wyoming and all that. So when I got there, I was handed over a platter by the girl that I met there, who has had another boyfriend who was a Nigerian, that may have wanted him to have her as presenting him with a platter like that, and the boy rejected it and went off abroad, went into New York to go work and come back. He must have had the issue of what I was being through, like probation, suspension, because his father was paying his school fees. But the thing is that if you come up from abroad and come to a country like that, as soon as you land the place, your parents, if they are not 100% having a wealthy felt, or they have what you call security details around them, they're not going to be able to support you because you are on your own, irrespective of the fact that they may have carried you through. So the guy was now on his own, and this guy was trying to put me into the same boat. And I did not care about that. But what I cared about was I wasn't going to become what she wanted me to become, because I was threatening her with the fact that I was going to get a doctorate degree. And she was, when I would run it by her that my dad died as a military officer during the Nigerian Civil War, she started using what we call fake gun to threaten me whether I would change my mind to marry her. So I didn't want to do that. So before you know it, the first semester was that at spring break, she was supposed to have been taking me to go exploit where her parents are primarily from, which is, I think the parents moved away from Macomb, Illinois. They didn't move away. She wanted me to go show me around the Quad City, like Bedington, Moline, show me around, show me some good time. But when it was time to do that, the very day we were supposed to be leaving, she presented me with the fact that I personally didn't have no job. And my main worry at that point was the little money that I have. I paid a year's school fees ahead of me, and I paid what you call rent for a whole year. That's what they do in Nigeria, and I paid it. So she did not have access to any of my money. The little money I have, I was waiting for the next semester to be over because I couldn't get a job at that point in time because I was just hitting the ground. I wanted to be able to run. So the next semester, when that semester was over, I was on probation. That got me, and I already through with her, because if you could tell me one thing for the have for the spring break and you're not able to deliver on it, not only that, if you can't deliver on it, that's one thing. Then not being able to deliver on it and then just got me. And I was saying, I'm not through with that woman. Boom. Because she couldn't deliver. And I was forced to go in and sign up to entertain or to be an usher to the current president of China, Xi, because they were all coming to Illinois then to come and learn the pig farming to jumpstart their own green revolution in China. And they were coming to come and learn how to do farming with pigs, soybeans, corn, with liaising with the pioneer in affiliation with Western Illinois University, which has a very robust department of agriculture, which I was part of, and my advisor told me I can be an usher and gave me 6 credit hours for that. So it was a continuing education class, but I was able to dock that girl who was a fluke, and that was it. At the time the semester was over, I was on probation, and I was crying like a little bitch. I'm not gonna lie, I was crying like a little baby. I was just crying. Then, when that semester was over, the next semester I was able to get a job in the employee cafeteria, which is what I am currently doing as a dishwasher. Because I call myself DMO. I got that the dishwasher job, and then I got in-service training, what they call 20 hours of that you are allowed to work. They call it work study. That's what immigration wants you to do. I got that 20 hours. So I was working with a private entity, which is what they call them, the employee cafeteria. I become a dishwasher. I become washing dishes. All of a sudden, I went out of the whole campus and went in to go and fetch another job, washing dishes as a full-time job. Then I think I did something illegal. I would clock in that job, and I would walk away from it and go into another place. One day I did it, and they caught me and they got me fired. Like that. Boom. I didn't really care. I was doing that. And I went in, got back, had a job out of the campus, and I have a job in campus, and I was taking the second semester. I was a little bit more measured now because the first semester I was taking classes that was not sophomore. It was not. I was not junior, but I was taking classes that was going to lead me to a 2-year program to be able to graduate. So most of my classes were really high level classes, but those classes have what you call a prerequisites. They will allow me to register for it because they looked at my transcript as being able to be compatible. But the only thing that I did not know was that I did not come to the conclusion that I cannot take the school on as an antagonist. Looking at the school as a protagonist. You don't take the schools like that on. You work within the system as a static character. I was taking the school head on, and I did not care about what was going on, and I was not following any of the rules. I was not working with any other people in the school because there was so much chaos from all the Nigerians that were in school there who were all homeless. They would go and pluck crops from the farms around. That's what they were eating. And at the end of that year, there was this detachment of corn that they were doing as the only thing they could have done because the Department of Agriculture approved of it. They would work in a month, going in wearing all these garments, and they would then go in and start plucking corns and taking the tassels off and then there was what called cross-pollination, and it was they do that as we speak right now. It's the money that people make in the Midwest. But I couldn't do it because I had two jobs and I was having full load 2 of 18 credit hours. My result came better, but when the result came out, the second semester, they kept me. I was slammed into. I was given a suspension letter, and I went in and wrote about it and tell them they should give me one more chance. That I'm improving, and they gave me one more chance. Then the third semester was a summer semester. I took some classes, but they didn't really count. Then the fourth semester, I took more classes and I was able to reach a better status of 2.0 grade point average. At this time, I was already owing one semester because I came up there with the money for 2 semesters. That was enough money, but I was able to use it for 3 semesters plus my classes that I was taking for the summer. So I used money that I was supposed to do for 2 semesters and used it for 4 semesters before I was owing the last semester, and they didn't allow me to register. I didn't really care because I had already got a level where I'm no longer going to be, all I need now is money to get this started. So I bounce out, borrow money from here, and bounce out and came to Texas to come and work, only to come here and find out that the place was also in a chaos. It was so chaotic that all the boys that I knew back home who are now here, they were eating each other up. Because I did not fit into the general protocol, they were gossiping about me in Nigeria, telling my relatives in Nigeria that I'm now a Christian. The only thing I did was to go with Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints boys who were elders to get rid of that chaos of drinking, smoking, having stuff like dumpster diving. They were all gaming the system, petty theft, credit card fraud. They were just doing that. They wanted to destroy the system, and I was watching them doing that. So what I did was to come in and show them the way by doing 2 jobs. I would work at the Legacy Hotel, and I would work with Bill Brown in the restaurant in Greenville. Then when I got really upset with a guy, I got really mad because a guy was winking their eyes at me, and the guy was gay. Or I thought that if somebody winks their eyes at you, it's almost like having sex with you, because if people go to recognize that the person winking their eyes at you, you are now a friend to them, which means you are gay. And that did not sit with me. So I just quit that job. Or I got fired from it. I don't remember which is which, but I did not miss that. Then I came back. I started working for the what do you call the Republic Bank property as a dishwasher, and I was moved very quickly into a supervisory position. And a lot of the Nigerians were reporting to me. At this time, there was a lot of hula baloo going on where I had to leave all this chaos around, and one of the boys then buddied me, and we went to go get rented an apartment together. He himself was a knucklehead. I think he's dead now, the guy. So while he was doing that, at the restaurant level or at the cafeteria level, there were a lot of people that were bankers. They all loved me because I give them free food. When one of the guests fell in love with me, I didn't have no homestead, I have no bed or anything, so I ended up having to be able to hang out with her in her own place, and I would order, I can order with, I mean, I started drinking and I started smoking. That got me, but I did not do no marijuana. I was doing smoking and drinking and all that, and I was working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So for one reason or the other, I did left town and left that boy in that apartment and went to go and pay ahead, pay what I owed behind, had more money in my hand, and went back there and went to go see what I can do. As I got back there, I did left behind where there was a damage control, which I was expecting that the girl that was in town should have done something and throw the money at me, and she didn't do that. I said, no, don't worry about it. I just left. That was the end of it. So by the time I got there, I was now being asked by one of the guy who we all went together, who has left school to Chicago to go and start driving taxi and came back, graduated. He said he's finished now. He's leaving the house there because he wants to come back for his master's degree. I think he's in Canada, Shola Bola. So I was like, okay. But for one reason or the other, I wasn't going to take what he said because he can tell you what he wants you to do, but what he thinking about is different from what you're thinking about. And people have attention deficit disorder. That's a big problem because people say one thing and do another thing. But I couldn't. I don't say one thing and do another thing. I don't have that head for that. What I say I'm going to do is what I do. I may speak it up front, I will do it. If I don't even speak it and I'm traveling on that roadmap, I already know how clean that roadmap is going to be. So I didn't hang out with him. I hung out with another guy from the Equatorial Guinea who has scholarship, and we were roommates. I was able to wing myself through the program by doing the tasseling of corn, helping another of the rich kids who were trying to fix a car. I paid, used my credit card to pay for it, and they gave me the cash back. The school gave me money for like $300 for a scholarship. When I piled everything together, I was able to register for the last semester, take it 26 credit hour because I had 6 credit hour as my final project, and I was revisiting the National Research Institute at Badegi, which is one of the common research paper, and I just republished it and sent it back to Dr. Fix. And he later mailed it back to me when I wanted to return to Dallas. Barely was I able to pass my my chemistry because I was taking the last chemistry. You gotta take organic chemistry, you gotta take inorganic chemistry, you gotta take math, elementary math, and you got to take another math, and I could not take because I think I flunked the math. So I was not told that you can just take what you call quantitative aptitude test and verbal aptitude test. And you got to go write an exam, write it in English class to say that you are the one that is getting the degree that you can write because they don't want people coming out of Western Illinois University not able to write at least a letter. This standard protocol is still there as we speak. The regent, the Illinois School of Regent require that you must pass that English proficiency before you can graduate. I flunked it at first and I retook it by going to go more of the paper the way they were doing it, and I was able to pass it. And I passed it and I graduated. It was sweet Georgia Brown. I was walking into the graduation day with my caps and gown when one white girl saw me and held my hands till when I was able to get to the gate. That's how much happy ending the whole thing came out. As I finished, before then, I already had fallen in love. And the person I was falling in love with has left town, went to South Carolina or North Carolina, later went again to UCLA, and I fell in love with her. So I was keeping a long distance relationship with her, hoping I could join her in North Carolina. It didn't work. So when I saw that she was not interested in me, she was not in love with me, because if you are having attention deficit disorder, you will fall in love. People will not fall in love back with you. So what I did was, I said, okay, forget that. I just said, I can turn back to Texas against my personal wish. As soon as I got to Texas, I started going back to my director, who wanted me to be his own assistant. And I told him, I can't be your assistant. I need a stable job. You give me a stable job, I will do anything you want me to do for you. After working for him for a month, he did not pay me. I think he gave me a check. It's still with me. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna frame that check. I don't know what the check was, but I didn't cash it because the check was so small. So I went in and talked to to the guy who worked at the Federal Reserve Bank. He gave me $300, and he couldn't give me a job there because I was my status. So I went back in and started working 2 jobs. At this time, I was thinking about how was I going to be able to do Ukiaki dish room distribution, which I had already registered when I was in Dallas before with the courthouse. But my buddy from the Federal Reserve Bank was telling me that I can't pull it off because there's more to starting a business than just having an idea. So I let it go. Then I started pouring money into what you call research and development, buying packages on how to start a business and all that. When everything everything kind of ran out, then I went back to start looking for how was I going to be able to do the accounting work that was giving me problem, because there was little what you call small business pencil footing, what is purchases book, what is sales book, what is trial balance, what is trading profit and loss, what is bank reconciliation statement. I didn't know that, but I did that in secondary school in Nigeria, because we did that at Asoro Grammar School. We had accounting classes. All those things were already in my head, but not being able to exude it back up just kind of got me. So what I did was, I said, okay, I was putting money into this, and then I went into Mastery Business School. I took what you call a 6-7 months for computerized accounting, paying $1,000 a month. No talk of my rent, no talk of my car note, my insurance, my feeding, and everything. That was almost like $2,000 that I was paying a month for that school. So I ran through it, and I flunked one of the classes that really got me. I was typing and shorthand, and I didn't like that. But I graduated. I got a job with my Baby Doe's restaurant where I was working as a controller. But the woman did not want me to succeed. She booted me out of there because I don't know how to play what you call office politics. Because what she wanted me to do was kiss her ass, and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to come in there and do the bookkeeping, which the general manager was the one that told them to put me there because I have it. The case she leave, but she didn't want to be pushed out by a younger person because she was really getting at the age of retirement. So on the long run, I finished the school and I couldn't use the school to do anything. I went back, paid what I owed, had a big credit line on the block. I went into what you call career and life planning at Brookhaven College, a course like that, and I did a lot of more research and development in business. Then I decided, okay, this boy is getting too old. He needs what you call career and life planning. So I went in and signed it at the school in which one of my buddy went to, which I went to attend his graduation, and I went in and signed in and told them I was going to pay cash, which I did. I also told them I was going to pay cash, not only paying cash, I also told them that I was not going to take any class that was in an elective. I was only interested in computer classes. They couldn't argue with me because that's what I was going to enroll for. And I did it for 3 years. So at the end of the time to do my 6 hour practical, where I was going to write a program on my own, I could not pull that up because there were prerequisites to that class, like accounting, statistics, math, and very many classes like business classes. All of them will pile up together that will allow you, if you don't have all the classes, you cannot just take the final project. So I ended up bundling one and accounting two together, register for both of them. Even though they were having prerequisite. And I had 26 credit hours that I was taking because that was my last stroke that was going to break the camel's back. They didn't even allow me to register. They told me I must go pay $6,000 of what I owe in front of me and what I will owe when I get out. And I had to go seek the money from out of nowhere in my credit card and dump that $6,000 on them, and I enrolled for the last school. When I graduated, they were supposed to have been sending me for what you call replacement. For placement, they didn't send me, they said, because I'm not from there. Matter of fact, the last semester was really bad because we were close to when the September 11 was getting ready to hit. And the school started sending all people who were international students to the immigration lawyer because there was a charter going on. And a lot of the students in our school there were all from Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, all these people in Obama's administration that were coming in, and the father would put them China, India, they would pay their school fees cash, and they would send them more money. A lot of them were driving Mercedes, Lamborghini, big cars. You can hear them in the hallway calling themselves Abdullah Modullahi. So wago yo no yewe polo Abdullah we Modullahi. Wago yo no yewe polo Abdullah we Modullahi. They were all talking all this like Machish, all this Muhammad and all that. They were talking about that. And even one of my professors took it upon herself to start saying that the charter and start talking about people wearing hijab. I almost fell into the trap of trying to become a Muslim because Nigeria was a Muslim state. So, but I didn't do that because they told me that if you go Muslim, you can't go back. I said, what the hell? If I come in, I can't go back. I ain't doing that. I mean, it's like a cult. So I didn't do it. But on the long run, I did start going into what you call the Nation of Islam under Louis Farrakhan in the southern part of town. They didn't give you that specification because the one they were talking about were in North Dallas, the mosque that were in North Dallas, and those of them are what you call the people who are from Tutsi. Those people from what you call there are different kinds of Muslims out there, but those are what you call the Orthodox Muslim. So when I came in, I started going to mosque in South Dallas. That didn't bother me because South Dallas, or generally speaking, downtown area where I never live too close to I never live in all those far North Dallas. I always live very close to downtown area where I have full traffic. So before you know it, I did not become Muslim. I graduated and I went to my thing that I was doing before, which is waiting table. So that's what I've done, and that's what I believe now that in this storyline is the story that I will continue to beat on and on and on and on and on and on until we have it down pat because I'm speaking from passion. I'm speaking from my heart. But the bottom line here today, like I want to tell you guys, because I'm going to read 2 hours here, is that I do want you guys to know that I have a book that is getting ready to come out. And when it comes out, I want to be able to have everybody buy it. They sent me the front cover and the back cover 2 days ago, and they just sent me the edited version of it. I'm not reading all that. I think it's 49 pages. I think it's 49 pages. I'm going to have to check to see how many thousands of words. No matter what it is, I could care less. I just want a little print to call me an author. Then I'm going to write more books going along. And the books I'm going to be writing, they are not going to be United States friendly because I know this country like the back of an arm. I know what makes the country tick. I know it. I cannot want to be boastfully saying that I know it better than those who are living here because I think I read that about 2 days ago where there was an article that was saying that they had a father who was not born here, but he knows the system better than him. That's not impossible. I know this system more than those who were, there's a lot of people who were born here. I'm not boastfully talking about it, but that's not mean anything because knowing it better than anybody else is just the way it is. But you do know, as much as you know it better than anybody else, you are not from here. And you are not from here means that you cannot plant yourself here. But I have tried as much as I can not to separate my goose and the ganja, and I've done really well by not separating myself from the people of African descent who are sons and daughters of the soil. And that's the badge of honor that I'm wearing. And I did not dump them. And for the long run, I'm able to get them to help me to be able to start what we call a political action committee that can help somebody like Nikki Haley to become president. May so mote it be. So SOMOTE no it ITB. So mote it be. So trade. I want to thank you guys for viewing this studio a message of what they call a 2 hour podcast because I'm going to be I'm shooting from all angles. I'm really glad about the fact that I was able to have 288 views on one single channel, and it was the channel that I recorded on my own. And I'm now becoming positively sure that I have beaten the odds in this program. I was supposed to be going to go and look for a job. I'm no longer in a hurry to get a job because the job itself, the job market, people are talking a lot of noise out there. You go to a job and you tell them, how can I fill up an application? All of them keep telling you, you might go online to go do it. And those who are not telling you to go online, as soon as you get, no, we're not hiring right now. I mean, if the push come to shove, imagine the difficulty that somebody like Ricky Jones was having to be able to keep people who mean well to wait table at the time I was last 2 years of my stay with the Buzz Bruce, that he couldn't keep anybody on payroll there. We are now having a lot of people. I think it's already said the number is very high. 2 million who have already crossed the border into the United States, and they've replaced the people who quit their job. That's mass resignation that led to, in the first 2 days of this year, Google, Microsoft, IBM, they were laying off up to the tune of 10,000 in the first 2 or 3 days. The reason they were doing it is because during the mass resignation, they were worried that they were not going to be able to have enough recruits. So they bumped up the recruit and they were recruiting like mad, like madhouse. So when the push come to shove, there was 72 people that were 72 percent that was let go by Elon Musk. So at the end, they were saying that they were overhiring, like in Twitter. So on the long run, these people are laying off now because they said they were bloated. And the people that are coming in, most of them are going to are being handed over a working permit. Something that those who were there, 11 million people, were not handed it to. Those people they are in the what do you call that? They are in the what do you call when Hitler put people in the gas chamber. They are in the gas chamber because the white supremacists, the mega people, Trump himself are looking at these people as their enemy. They got bad blood coming out of their wazoo. They're going to come and take over. Coming to take you away, ha ha. They're going to take you away, ha ha. They're going to take you away, ha ha. They are telling them, the bad blood. They are from SIT countries. They are your husband who is working in the military in the Horn of Africa is not with you, and your wife can even not be with you anyway. And not that you are speaking as if you hated your father-in-law and your mother-in-law who used their daughter to become an American. You are calling people what you call uncle baby. I mean, you're not a human being. I just can say that on the record. So we, as people, are going to try as much as I can to tell everyone that we need to be more into what I'm currently doing, holding the white people who are the epitomizer responsible and calling them out just because they will not change their ways if you don't call them out. Don't be afraid. Man died but once. So go in and call them out at the continent level. Quit worshiping the foreign faith that is not part of the African traditional religion. Quit worshiping that. Worship African traditional religion. That's what I'm saying. And there was this issue of evil in America. There are brothers here who are worshiping African traditional religion. They are going to be the one that I will be bringing up in terms of what to call guests. Because they are playing into the Egba. They call it Egbe. It's Egba land. And they call themselves Fagberu. And Fagberu is probably a chief over there who is just who they are going to go see, and they are hoping that he will be able to bless them, and they're changing their names to him over there. More grease to their elbow, and they will be the one that will be helping me with this what you call guests when it's time to start doing what you call podcasting, when my equipment are now up to par, or when I have a recording studio that doesn't restrict me to 2 hours every 4 hours a week, which I had to book. And when I go in there, before you know it, everything is gone. Both like that. I may have done the recording, but I've successfully not put a single dollar into this project in terms of my equipment. And I'm using the equipment of almost $50,000 in that same studio. But I had to sign in to go in, and I'm glad I'm able to do that. I'm getting the waste with $50,000 of equipment. And in the place I am living, I was able to get away with $50,000 with my old landlady, who at one point in time railroaded me into an apartment that was, I wanted a 1 bedroom, railroaded me into a 2 bedroom. only to find out that the property, those who were there in the property, left the property behind without being knowing that the place has a lot of bed bugs, roaches. There was leaks that destroyed all my property. At one point in time, what I signed up for was like $450, which I could get away with. Before you know it, within a month or so, she was giving me a lot of increment, increasing, decreasing in the electric series. So at one point in time, I just cut her off and told her, hey, come on, man. I was able to pay $300 every other 2 weeks, 300, because I hate rent. I think I put that clip out there one time. I hate rent. I don't want to pay rent. Since I left home, I never want to pay rent. As America hasn't been an exemption either. And even as I was telling you, I did not want to pay rent, and it got to a point where I was paying certain amount of money, and she would give me every month or every time an eviction notice, and I was waiting to make sure that she would evict me. But before she evicted me, she was going to go through what we call the legal system. But as I was paying for every month, I wasn't not delinquent, but I was not able to pay in full. I would pay twice. At one point, she said she's not going to allow twice no more, and I stopped that, and I was paying full. But I was waiting for her to take me into a receivership where the judge would have decided my fate. But what I did notice was that if you look at how much I'm currently being told to pay now, and the money that I was paying half of what I'm paying now. She railroaded me into a 2-bedroom when I only needed 1 bedroom. She destroyed my artifacts. If you look at the differences between what I was paying, what I was supposed to pay, that's buku. If you also look at it for how much late charge that I was accruing, not paying, and that was another buku. So if you look at the whole scenario, the scenario was almost the fact that my property was destroyed, the fact that all the information that I had in my office that I merged here, as soon as I started finding that there were roaches and everything, bedbug, I threw everything away. I had to pay people to come and help me do that. So at this point in time now, I'm only left here with books. And they are not, I removed them from the boxes, the bread boxes that I was bringing from Spaghetti Warehouse that I was putting into, and I put them into what you call garbage bags. I don't know why I did that, but they are all newspapers, nothing but newspapers. They were the Barron, the New York Times, the Financial Times, the Climate Business Journal, and something like that, or some other paperwork that I may have picked up from maybe Weekly, Dallas Weekly, and all that. But all those information, I don't want to throw them away because I am a hoarder. This for the fact that I have short attention disorder. I have already used some volunteer that reported to me, and they spent a whole 40 hours destroying some paperwork, and I kept the newspaper. I didn't destroy that. I told you not to destroy the newspaper. I just destroyed some of the what you call some of the white papers or brochure, and it destroyed for more than the whole week for 40 hours doing that. And I signed off on them because the person was a criminal, came from San Antonio to Dallas to come and do it, staying with her grandmother, and after doing the volunteer work, went back. I still had them getting in touch with me once in a while to find out whether I was the one that signed off on it and stuff like that. Because that's what you call what is that? Volunteermatch.com will allow you to be able to do. I wanted to also use them in this project too, but I don't know how that is going to work. But at this point in time, all I am worried about is how you guys are going to help me to be able to buy those novels. I'm going to send trinkets to everyone who are in my daily contact on my phone, WhatsApp, Google Gmail, Yahoo Gmail, and my company that I'm currently using, Gmail. At this point in time, there's so much influx, but I'm heading there. I'm heading to the promised land. And when I do go out there and become public, I am going to be a force to reckon with, because I have the I'm well informed, and what anything I'm saying, I don't have to worry about it. They are philosophically handed over. I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to make sure that as we go along, you have my back, because if you start thinking about not my passing words, PARCE, PRCE, or something like that. Don't pass word when you're dealing with a white guy. Tell them the way it is. I do that. When I'm dealing with any white person, I tell them what they don't want to hear. So long as they don't want to hear it and they know it is the right thing that you are telling them, they can live with it. They can see you like that. But that's what we have not been able to do as people of African descent. We are seeing people, white people, they're not bad people. They are not bad people, but you just have to make sure that they will tell you what you don't want to hear. And in very many instances, I've been told that since I've been in the US, but I can process those information without no prejudice. But so when it's time for me to tell it to people, I will tell people. When it's time for me to hold back with filter, I will do that too. I know when to say when. I'm not stupid. So I want to thank you all for coming in, and I'm going to wrap everything up. Y'all have a great evening. If you have any question and answers, argument, send it to 214-498-7736. 214-498-7736. You can also send me text messages to info@removepainpoint.com. Removepainpoint.com. Info@removepainpoint.com. Thank you for coming in, and I wish you all happy evening. Bye-bye.